Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got something that I want to share with y'all. I don't think I've ever had this discussion on this channel before, but I wanted to share with you that the United States and Israel were pretty much the only two countries on earth who voted that food is not a human right. So when you see all this scarcity that's being created through consumption of farmland, all these carbon emission initiatives coming out, running farmers out of business, the changing of how we produce food, all these different things that are happening with the supply chain. Understand when once scarcity and rationing hits, this country does not believe you are entitled to food or water. It is not a human right. It is not a basic right, which means they want to charge you for it. They have decided to capitalize food. And so you wonder why these other nations are pulling away from America and not really wanting to deal with the West in general. Like, it is a very cruel and inhumane place. They've always been cruel and inhumane. Unfortunately, because we live in the belly of the beast, we are going to be impacted by the wicked who, lord over us, so to speak. So I want to show you this picture of this UN vote. So you can see the whole planet is on this map. Everybody voted for food as a human right, except for the countries in red. So America and its territories here, little stuff over here, and Israel, which is a little dot on the map. That's basically right here. So, we know why. We know why. They've done that. And in my opinion, it has everything to do with, we are here and being chosen and in cahoots with the place that they created to be, modern Israel or today's Israel, even though we know that's not the real place. I personally believe that it is because they have plans for us, and those plans are not good. Now, when you look at what's happening in a lot of these major cities where we have historically lived post the Great Migration to the north and to the west, a lot of those places are being just demolished. And they're being demolished because we're there. And because they have other plans for those, but they need to make those smart cities. So they're going to try to get rid of as many of you as possible because they know who we are. And after they get rid of as many of us as they can, they're going to go on with their plans. But I wanted to share this with you because I want you to understand that this country has no plans of taking care of anybody. So this is from the UN's website. It's a let me go back up to the top. So this is from the UN's website, and this is from 2021 after the So it says the third committee approves 11 drafts covering use of mercenaries, women in rural areas, unilateral coercive measures amid sparring over right to food. So the third committee, social, humanitarian, and cultural, approved 11 draft resolutions today covering issues that include the use of mercenaries as a means of violating human rights, the situation of women and girls in rural areas. Notice they love to talk about women and girls, don't say nothing about boys and men. And the imposition of unilateral coercive measures. So, in one of the 7 recorded votes taken throughout the day, the committee approved a draft on a unilateral coercive measures, which would have the assembly strongly object to the extraterritorial nature of these measures, which threaten the sovereignty of states. Passed by a recorded vote of 124 in favor to 54 against, with no abstin with no abstentions. It would have the Assembly urge the Human Rights Council to fully consider the negative impact of such measures in the implementation of the right to develop. Before the vote, the United States representative stressed that sanctions do not undermine respect for human rights. Now you hear this. So they want to try to convince people that their sanctions do not undermine human rights. But when you cut off people's money, when you cut off their aid, when you cut off their food, when you have them dependent upon you, it does undermine human rights. So, they like to play this word game that they always do, the dominant society does. And it's just always interesting to read when government and public authority speaks in their jibber jabber, whether it's church or state. She placed blame instead on those who commit rights violations as if they don't commit none. Describing sanctions as an effective tool for promoting peace and countering terrorism, she said the draft undermines the international community's ability to respond to violations and abuses. Expressing a different view, Venezuela's representative on behalf of Group of Friends pointed to the negative impact of sanctions on the enjoyment of all human rights, including the right to develop. These illegal measures represent a massive violation of human rights, he asserted. In other action, the committee approved a draft on the right to food by a recorded vote of 180 nations in favor to 2 against, the United States and Israel, with no abstentions, expressing alarm that in 2020, the number of people lacking access to adequate food rose by 320 million to 2.4 billion. So they're saying that since the 320 million people didn't have access to food, adequate food, I guess per day, and it rose to 2.4 billion people, amounting to nearly a third of the world's population, and that between 720 million and 811 million people faced hunger. So this says hunger is a violation of human dignity, Cuba's delegate asserted. Presenting the draft, he voiced concern that the United States has blocked consensus on the text for 4 years. 4 years. This was in 2021. The United States' representative, highlighting conditions in the Lake Chad Basin, Yemen, and Somalia, said the draft contains unbalanced and inaccurate positions that her delegation simply cannot support. The concept of food sovereignty could justify food protectionism, which they don't want because they need to be able to steal from everybody else and give everybody else bad food while they have the good food, negatively impacting food security, she explained, adding that the United States does not recognize the right to food as it lacks a definition in international law. Now, why you got to have a law? See how the dominant society does. They need a law to recognize that food is a right. Now, God already gave us food. Food is of the earth. All you need to do is just go pick it and plant it and grow it and cultivate it and eat it and do it in the way that he told you to do it, because it talks about the laws of reaping and sowing and harvesting and planting in the Bible. But no, we have Esau and them who likes to come up with their own rules and their own ways to do things so that they can lord over everything. So I just wanted to share that with you so that you understand that America and Israel do not believe that food is a human right. So if you are not making sure that your household has food, America don't care. America do not care, especially if you are a Negro. They do not care. So stop crying and asking them to care. They don't care. They've stood before the whole world to let the whole world know. They don't care if you eat. They don't care if you have food. So it is up to you to make sure that you can fend for yourself and provide for your family and for yourself, whether you have a job or not, because you're not even guaranteed to have a job. But if you got some seeds, you could throw you some seeds in the forest and come back and get them. You could do something if you got some seeds, but you can't do nothing if you don't have anything but hope and dreams, and cries out to the government who don't give a crap about you. So I just want to share that with you all, um, because you need to understand where we are headed in the future. And so as this mark or beast infrastructure is being set up, understand they don't care if you eat. They don't care about your rights to live. They don't care about your right to have access to water. Water, they do not believe water is a right either. Um, that came out also pre-pandemic. And they have all sorts of language and laws to protect them and lord over you with water as well, which is why I've been urging you to make sure you store up water and have you alternative sources to access water someplace that you can have hidden, um, where you can maybe do your own hand well or whatever. But they sell kits. Go to eBay, look it up, get your own stuff, have it for just in case, and just make sure that you are aware of what your enemy is planning, what your enemy is doing, and how your enemy thinks. These people are letting you know that they do not care about you having access to food, which is why they're trying to make sure they're getting rid of all of it. So down here at the bottom is where they actually did the vote. Here it is. So I'm going to read this to you. And so I already read basically what it says, but I'm going to just do it again. So it says the committee then considered the draft resolution titled "The Right to Food," document A/C.3/776/L.47. The representative of Cuba introducing the draft said that given the impossibility of having in-person consultations due to the pandemic, the text is mostly the same as the one approved in the previous session. Recovery from the pandemic must take into consideration the right to food for everyone. Hunger is a violation of human dignity, he stressed, emphasizing that all people have the right not to suffer from hunger and must have access to healthy, nutritional, and safe food. It is unfortunate that the United States has prevented consensus on the draft for the past 4 years. The representative of the United States said the international community is confronting one of the most serious food insecurities in modern history that they created. They didn't say that. I said that. So let me make sure I clarify. Hunger is on the rise, and the cough is impacting lives, harming how people feed themselves and their families, she said, highlighting conditions in Lake Chad Basin, in the Lake Chad Basin, Yemen, and Somalia. Yemen is facing potential famine. While this draft resolution acknowledges such hardships, it also contains unbalanced and inaccurate positions that the United States cannot support. She expressed concern that the concept of food sovereignty could justify food protectionism, which will have negative consequences for food security. The United States does not recognize the right to food, which does not have a definition in international law. Just a shame that you got to even have a definition. So it says the committee then approved L.47 by a recorded vote of 180 in favor to 2 against, and they have in parentheses Israel and United States with no abstentions. So again, I'm going to close here. I will leave a link to these in the comment section, because if I put it in the description, because it's got the U and the N in it, it will not circulate through the algorithms. But understand, these people ain't playing with us. Now, you see, this is from 2021. We're in 2023, heading into 2024, and they out here burning up everything, shutting everything down, buying up all the farmland. Just inflation is out of control, and it's going to get worse. And they're getting ready to lock us down again. And we're getting ready to have all kind of coochie rumbles out here. You just gonna be making us sick. So we're gonna run into the same issues that we ran into in 2020, 2021. And you know how scarce things were, especially if you didn't live near a port, or you didn't live, if you didn't have access to a different type of supply chain, like international food resources, you were out of luck. So I suggest y'all really be serious about preparing for food and water, because winter is coming and it's going to be a problem. The next lockdown is going to be a problem. And we have fewer resources now than we did back in 2020, 2021. So let's get it together, people. Keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High. Keep repenting for your sins of commission and sins of omission. Pray for the awakening so that our brothers and sisters will wake up, because they are going to be harmed in a major way when they learn that they're not entitled to anything. Understand that these resolutions are tied to this new order and infrastructure that will be underway should you opt out of the beast system. Lastly, if you like this type of content, please consider following me here on YouTube. Hit that bell notification so that you will be notified every time I upload new content. Also consider following me on Rumble and Odyssey. The links are in the description. I have one channel strike and I might get another. Just don't know. We don't know. We don't have any control over these algorithms and them going back and finding stuff that they don't like and penalizing us for it. Also, consider following me on social media. I am on Instagram and Facebook. The links are in the description. If you like this type of content and I am not able to upload it here, have to upload it on Rumble, I will notify you on Instagram and on Facebook. I do not post to those platforms regularly because I don't try to just limit my social medias. At this point, it's very difficult trying to tell the truth. So my primary platform is YouTube. I used to write. I don't write anymore because they censor that too. So again, Do what you need to do to fortify your lives spiritually and physically, because you're going to need a strong spirit and be firm in the word to deal with what's coming on this earth. My goal here is to try to help us endure to the end. There are a lot of different things that you need to know. I can't bring them all to you. So please make sure you are doing your own research. Please make sure you are clicking on the links when I provide them and understanding this information yourself. Because when people finally wake up and come out of their stupor, they're going to be looking for answers, and the internet will be no more. The old internet. They will control the information and they will control the truth. So you need to have knowledge and wisdom. That's what we're supposed to be getting and keeping watch so that you can inform others and help them to avoid receiving the mark. We want folks to be sealed. You want to be sealed. And let's pray that we can endure to the end. That's my goal. All right, y'all. Love you. Take care. And I am out.